representative of not only a system of music, but an entire culture. As an icon of India, he ranks not far below Gandhi or the Taj Mahal. At one stage, there were 3 Indian restaurants named after him on Manhattan's Fifth Avenue alone, none with his endorsement. He also lived one of the 20th century's most extraordinary lives. He had an uncanny habit of being an eyewitness to historic events all around the world. He was born in India when the nation was struggling to evict the British, toured Weimar Germany as a child star just as Hitler was rising to power, danced at Carnegie Hall and partied at the Cotton Club, met Clark Gable and Joan Crawford in Hollywood, sang for Gandhi and was blessed by India's great poet Rabindranath Tagore. All this before he was 18. Only then did he switch his focus from dance to music. He came to national recognition at the time of India's independence, toured the Soviet Union at the height of the Cold War, was invited to America in 1956 thanks to the CIA, and moved to California just in time for the Summer of Love. He shone a spotlight on Bangladesh's liberation struggle, played inside the Kremlin in the midst of glasnost, and served as a member of India's parliament. Ravi obviously liked the parable of the blind men and the elephant. In 1974, he deployed it as a metaphor again, this time in a book on India, when he wanted to portray the extraordinary diversity of the country, from the Himalayan glaciers to the tropical backwaters of Kerala, from the turban desert nomads of Rajasthan to the tribal hill peoples of the northeast. But the metaphor is equally apt for describing public conceptions of Ravi Shankar himself, the sitar maestro, the musical missionary, the counterculture hero, the orchestral pioneer, the traditionalist, the innovator, the soundtrack composer of the Apu trilogy, the godfather of world music, as George Harrison labelled him, or the part sadhu, part playboy, as India Today once called him. He was so multifaceted and long-lived that everyone knows a different part of him, and most have struggled to understand the whole person. This book, the first biography of Ravi Shankar apart from his own, takes on that challenge. I first met and worked with him in 1994 when he was 74. Over the 18 years he had yet to live, I came to know him well, and we met on many different occasions. At first I was his editor, but he subtly encouraged me into the role of future biographer, happy to update me regularly on the latest developments in his life. It was easy to like him. He had a rare ability to connect with people of all backgrounds, and I was awestruck by his prodigious musicality. Yet he understood the need for his life story to be told objectively. When Richard Attenborough went to see India's Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, about making a film on Gandhi, the film that, with a soundtrack by Ravi, would triumph at the Oscars 2 decades later, Nehru's advice was that it would be wrong to deify the Mahatma. He was too great a man for that. Ravi Shankar deserves the same approach. Many music lovers find Indian music to be impenetrable on first encounter. 100 years ago, it was little known outside its homeland. On the rare occasions that foreigners encountered it, they would typically describe it as mystifying, monotonous and unending. A maze of noises, as the narrator puts it in E.M. Forster's 1924 novel, A Passage to India. Ravi Shankar would change all that. He knew from his youthful experiences touring the world as a dancer in his brother Uday Shankar's troupe that even sympathetic audiences would need to be eased into the rituals and practices of Indian music. In his early days as an overseas pioneer, he liked to preface his concerts with a short spoken preamble, seated on a carpet on a raised dais, with agarbatti incense burning and illuminated by gold-hued stage lights. He would first introduce the instruments, typically just 3 of them. There was the tabla, the 2-piece tuned drum played by an accompanist, the tanpura, a simple lute whose open strings are plucked to produce a drone, usually played by